afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney. Hello. Welcome back. So, last time on Great Ace Attorney, we finished up the last case. Dusted it off, finished it off, polished it. Found out that our boyfriend died because he, slipped. He got pushed into a bed frame, and he died from that. How unfortunate. Not the way he should have went. There's no one to blame. He got, lightly pushed because of a misconception, so that's great. But, other than that, we have studied to become a lawyer, and we've been granted an opportunity by the Chief Justice to preside over a case, because this man cannot get himself a lawyer. He has no bitches. So, we're his only bitches. And I'm sure we'll, prevail. But yeah, last time it was a very short stream, only 2 hours, so we didn't really get much done, especially since we went on a bunch of rants, which is, normal. But however, we have a special task today during the Skyward Sword stream that just happened. Big Boss did a 50 hydrate streak, so before we start today, I am going to down a whole bottle of water. I am going to chug it in spirit of Boss, Big Boss. I don't know if he's here, if he's lurking or not, but yeah, I'm gonna do that, and it's gonna be great. I actually used to chug bottles of water back when I was in school, and you are. Well, fantastic. I was worried I'd have to do it again. I'm glad I don't. Well, back in the day, in school, I thought it would be, I didn't really like drinking water. I thought it was gross. So, to get that hydration, I just downed it in one. Because I hated just drinking it. I hated that. And now I really like water, so, I've grown, I guess. But yeah. I actually wanted to do more, Skyward Sword. I'm gonna be honest. I only really hopped off for, the variety, since we did 2 Zeldas in a row, so here we are. Not that I didn't want to do it, but I was really enjoying Skyward Sword. Alright. The bottom's up, boys. Done. Honestly, I thought I wasn't gonna be able to do it because the bottle started creasing. It is as flat as paper right now. I flattened that shit. I was sucking that thing down. I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to get the rest of the water out, but I did. There you go. Do you think that's about 50 hydrates? You think that's about it? What do you think? Is that enough? Throw that shit on the floor. I don't know why I did that. I'm gonna have to pick that up later, but I want to do it now. And then, I have prepared another bottle of water if that wasn't enough. But, I think there's at least 50 sips of water in one bottle. If I had to be the presiding judge over this, but I'm not the one who spent, 100,000 points on gamer mode and then 50 hydrates. But, silence is deafening. I know you're in the middle of a match, but, I'm going to take that as, that is enough. Thank you very much for doing that. So I'll put this in the fridge. I'm very hydrated now. Let us go to the Old Bailey. (18th of February, 9:45 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber.
Oh, thank goodness we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins.
I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were gonna rattle loose.
Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly.
I'm not sure why you were so pleased. I thought we were gonna die. And we had to pay gold for the privilege.
Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started.
Yeah, I suppose there's that.
Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all.
So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait isn't, even for the room the defendants wait in is grand.
Are you all right, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'm feeling tense, that's all. My butt cheeks are clenched! This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if it's building itself, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever is about to be sentenced. Feels like only yesterday that I was about to be crushed.
Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I'm sure he's very lonely at this moment.
Top of the morning to you, madam. Sir. What are yous doing? Following me here? Things are desperate, are they? Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the east, are yous? Was that a remark against Japanese people? Okay. Yeah, we're from Japan. Ah, Japan, is it? Right, well, say no more. So, how much do yous need? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I got there, I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name. And all while in a strange, faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. 'Tis grand, 'tis grand. Let me start by giving yous 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now.
1,000 guineas?
Please, Miss Susato, you don't have to shout.
1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo.
Wow. The olden days, where 1,000 guineas could build you a mansion. What? 'Tis not to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I have enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. Could that much rain even fall in one day? Even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. That hit me in the eye! Ugh. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving you no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me. No? To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial that's about to begin, you see, is for me good self here. I'll be on the dock. Alright, so immediately Rinosuke is gonna get paid way more than his descendant. I mean, makes sense. Bro's gonna get a pretty penny. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me, stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is... Oh, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me. Nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial's gonna start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it was true. Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up.
I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but Does that mean you're the defendant in this trial?
Bluster and blazes! Do yous not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names?
No, sorry, we've only just arrived in the city, you see.
I see. Suppose it ain't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park, there be a centre of London, is another beautiful park.
Sorry, a park? What?
'Tis called the McGilden Park, full of blossoming flowers, the springing singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, I did.
An entire park? In central London?
A city of smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded couldn't do for the city and its queer people.
Oh, my controller fell, but I caught it. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary.
But now they've got the gall to say I'm good for nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What's the matter with the London police, I ask you?
Donald? I'm guessing this guy's more of like a Scrooge McDuck.
Bless me bagpipes.
I can't really do one. He's just old and Scottish.
Bless me bagpipes. Oh,
Mr. Naruhodo. It appears the mechanical wagon outside is speeding again. Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath?
Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour of Japan, you see. From Japan, of course. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best.
What was I saying? You daft, is it? I've given you 1,000 pennies to stand up against me, haven't I?
Well, yeah, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you.
Oh, I think I see what's going on here.
Sorry?
I know what you're thinking. This character of fellas, he claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it! That's the only explanation. Well?
Well, not at all. Not at all. Although, it is a little strange, to be honest. Why don't you have a lawyer, I mean?
That would be the fault of the Reaper.
Sorry? Did he just say the Reaper?
Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Barak van Zeeks. He's the prosecutor.
Barak von Zeeks. Okay. So this is supposed to be a karma stand-in?
The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper?
When Van Zeeks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned.
What?
So it's reached the desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey.
Goodness, Lord Barak von Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then.
Talented isn't the word you're looking for, man. It's cursed.
Cursed? What on earth?
The defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way to the courtroom. The trial is about to begin.
This counsel, that would be me.
Oh, 'tis time. Well then, fella, don't let me down.
But I don't know anything about the case. You even told me what happened.
Till you showed your face here. I made up my mind, so I had.
Sorry?
I decided I'd have to defend myself in there.
How would that have worked?
But then you made an appearance, a student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please.
I just need to know a little bit about the case. I mean, evidence, story, what even happened? I can already see it now. The prosecutor's gonna be so fucking pissed that he's, you know, going up against a rookie. Well, this rookie has 2 cases under my belt, so take that. I literally know nothing about the case, or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him.
Mr. Naruhodo?
The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yeah, something that Kazuma would never have allowed to happen.
Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you'll lose the right to stand.
I'll be right there. Oh yeah, I'm ready to meet Von Karma number Proto .5. It's happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because I have no idea how I'm gonna manage this. Cool. What? Who are they? Are we about to have a banquet? I really like that guy with the top hat right there. He's looking a little funky. Oh, it's the jury. Oh, wow. Who would have guessed? Oh, it's almost like we were supposed to have a jury in, you know, Phoenix's games after they introduced them, and then it never happened again. And then fucking 100 years ago, they had it. Oh, wowee. Mamma mia. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different from the Supreme Court in Japan. That shit fucking sucks.
Feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. And at least I'm allowed to be in here now. I'm not getting ostracized for being a woman. I mean, there's even a lady on the jury. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo?
Why you asking me? I don't give a fuck. Say whatever you want. Oh, yeah, what?
You look like you're shitting bricks. Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again.
I know, but I just can't help it. Bro is a vampire? Oh my god.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is fully prepared.
That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch the next poor victim to the underworld.
Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English?
Yes, of course. I'm sorry. But he asked if the defense was ready. And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. Bro is literally Alucard.
Those eyes please me, Nipponese.
Okay.
They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb.
A cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. And the tip of my cock.
Now, Mr. McGilded,
Yes, my lord.
you stand accused of murder. A capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner? This Japanese? This Japan man?
As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a great thing to have opportunities to the young. Even if the fellow's a student from some little island off in the Far East. Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance? I'd like to think that acts of chivalry do the British Empire proud.
Listen to Mr. McGillen. What a fine gentleman. You hear that he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Okay, what's the difference between a guinea and a pound? Is that the same thing? You know, I didn't think that, 100 years ago people were just throwing guinea pigs around left and right.
It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded.
Well, that's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him.
Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
I love that he... Oh. Ladies and gentlemen. It should be laddies and gentlemen. Am I wrong? I'm in my British mode. I'm gonna say laddies and gentlemen. That's funnier than ladies and gentlemen.
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed?
Okay, we got grandma, top hat, maid, top hat number 2, no, top hat number 3, and mini top hat.
Yes, my lord. If the task is to send rotters to the gallows, where they belong, I'm more than ready.
At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree.
Ha! Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me.
Okay.
Are we allowed to drink in here? I don't care. I feel chill.
Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for my grandson. Mr. Naruhodo, those people are, interesting.
The jury, yeah. That's something we don't have in Japan yet.
That's right. I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. The judge passes sentence according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based upon common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view.
But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict?
That I don't know, but I'm sure it'll become clear as the trial progresses.
Yeah.
Prosecutor Van Seeks.
My lord. Smash. Did you call the judge Santa? I mean, yeah. I'm glad they fixed the positioning of the judge, by the way. The judge in of the Apollo trilogy in the 3D, he was like way too laid back. He's more of a demanding presence here, which is exactly what the judge should be.
It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame.
I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity.
So, what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstances of which the court should be aware?
Well, before we continue, I gotta quickly go check that honking sound that you most likely heard. I will be very quick. Back. Sorry for that. I know I said I was gonna be quick, but anyway, having a conversation about what we're eating for dinner. But back to the British game. Back to the British lawyer game. I love British lawyer game. Geheim.
Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware?
Looks like a starting class in fucking, like, Bloodborne or something.
I leave that to your imagination, my lord. So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years.
Why did he have to choose today of all days to make a comeback? Well, look at this positively, Ryu. You know, he could be rusty. I'm sure he'll use that excuse when we beat him.
Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo.
As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please.
Certainly. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity.
Well, we must be the only ones in here who aren't aware.
The incident took place in the late evening. 3 days passed. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as thrice-fired mason.
Blushroom, you're smashing this guy? Burst Twilight as fuck. Sorry, thrice?
Mage 3. He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death.
Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer in Scotland Yard.
Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence.
Well, better take a look. Hey, I got a little... The lawyer's name is embroidered in the inside here, look.
Kazuma Sogi.
This was his band, of course.
He had his heart set on this study tour in Great Britain.
I'm sure he would have found the truth he longed for here. But he lost his life before he had the chance to see the place.
I have such a strong sense of his hopes and dreams when I look at an armband, though.
Oops, didn't mean to do that. Thrice fired Mason. That's his legal name. I thought that's what he was known in the, you know, community as. Bro doesn't have an actual name. Okay. That's on his birth certificate before he started, you know, bricking. Alright. Time and cause of death, 15th of February, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife whilst journeying in an omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhaging resulting from the trauma. Funny crooked hat.
And one further item of evidence.
Bro would literally smash Alucard, but I can understand Alucard.
The prosecution wishes to submit these as well.
And these are? Good Lord! Is that blood, counsel?
Bro, it's literally evidence. What do you think?
Yes, my lord.
Seized by policemen who arrived at the scene.
I mean, he is kinda Edgeworth coded. He's got like the swoops. Like the V swoop. Like, sort of. It's a little further apart, but I mean, he is definitely more suave than Edgeworth. I gotta hand it to him there.
These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested.
What? Mr. McGilded's gloves had blood on them? He's not related to Edgeworth, is he, Big Boss? I think we only have Naruhodo, who's related to Phoenix games. I don't know. Definitely point it out if we find another guy who's related. I would love to know. You know, Pain was obviously related, of course, but that's like the most obvious one.
Yes, I would gladly accept these as evidence as well.
How did I get into this? I'm backed into a corner before I even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time. Does our defendant look kinda guilty? Bro is literally Scrooge McDuck, man. How can you say that? You're just like against the rich, man. Let the billionaire walk free, I say. He has done no wrong. Surely he has done no wrong. Yeah, only 2?
Obviously, one of these passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGilded.
Oh my god, that is so fucking slay. Bro is fruity as hell. Look at that hand. Look at that suave hand gesture, dude. I thought they were gonna go through the entire line. Only a couple of them.
Well, rather damning circumstances, to say the least. Defendant, what say you?
Well, of course, I had no recollection of such a thing.
Mr. McGilded!
To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. But whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it.
Are you claiming to have been asleep?
'Tis the motion of the carriage, me lord. Littleton, so it is, and when I opened my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in my life. Goodness gracious me, I'm a little nervous. Now I ask yez, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached to give the man a hand.
So the blood got on his gloves then, after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning. What? That's not all of it? There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was finally stabbed. Bro's got the back problems for Phoenix there. Well, they're genetic. Did you see that fucking arc? Did you see the arc of his back? That's just genetic, bro.
Order! Order! Order!
When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage. And there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Well, you better not go lying in it, you creep!
Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from one of these witnesses, first of all.
Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses out at once. Could you imagine somebody doing that? In like a real courtroom? Like flailing your arm forward. Bring the witnesses out right now, bailiff. Okay, alright. Who's that cold little man? I know he's the killer. I looked at that cold little man and I said, that's the killer right there. Witnesses, your name and occupations.
My name is, well, everybody calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus at the East End.
Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city.
Oh, my name's First. Lady First. I am make hats for gents.
That sucks. That sucks. Get a new name.
Well, unfortunately for you, the only lady is the assistant to the newborns over there.
I'm 24! You're 23. I forget. I'm guessing I'm the same age as my friend, and I think he was 23.
3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witness to the aforementioned incident. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Quite right.
Yes, sir, that's right, sir.
Very well then, let's proceed with your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw.
Oh, shit, witness testimony.
It was the last omnibus of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accuser just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it.
As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and then I saw it too.
Your whip was phasing through itself there, buddy. Don't want to alarm you.
Ambiguous testimony, I must say.
What? Unanimous and ubiquitous combined? That's genius.
Unambiguous.
Hold on, you guys. I forgot. My parents called me while I was going to the bathroom, I think during the Skyward Sword stream. And they asked if I wanted to get some Pepsi Max Vanillas, so... You know? I said yes. They were only $11 for 10 cans, so... I accepted. So I could actually do Pilk. Unambiguous. Yeah. I said it right the first time. And I fucked it up 17 times. What of it? What of it, bro? I'm kind of starving. I haven't really eaten today. I had some snacks before I started stream, but nothing major. I just had like some potato chips.
Ugh. I could eat a horse, as they say. I could shove a horse cock down my throat. Or as they say, of course. That's what everyone says when they're hungry. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes.
I'd like to ask a question. I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Yes, counsel.
Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Why not?
Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it?
As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes.
Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of a moving carriage.
How quaint. I'd read that civilization in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses?
You know, I only arrived here this morning. I mean, I took one carriage. Huh?
Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you travelled in an omnibus?
Is that racist? You can't call people that, can you? Oh, it was a different time. I can get away with it. Well, no. We, only arrived in London this morning.
No matter. I've arranged for us to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is.
What do you mean? The actual scene? How?
Our carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much?
Yeah.
The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today, in this very building.
Here? What? The entire carriage?
Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus.
Big Boss, if all defense attorneys are fucking the prosecution, what's your verdict here? Is there chemistry between Ryu and Mr. Vampire over there? What's the verdict on this?
Hold on, I'm gonna have a cookie.
I wasn't making an excuse so I could have a cookie. No. That's ridiculous.
Yo, that's the omnibus. Mr. Ryu, are you eating in the courtroom?
Why, are you eating too, Judge? It sounds like you're eating as well.
Well, I'm the judge. I will have to eat.
No response, but I'm probably gonna guess yes. Apologies, I don't need one. I just need a little something. Ow! Listen, okay, I shoved it all in at once so I could speed along, but I'm having difficulty now. There we are. Those cookies have been in my fridge for a long time, since my birthday. So, I mean, practically a month. They're a little soft, but tastes perfectly fine. And now I die. I can't believe they could bring something that enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing.
As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. Four passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin, and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests, there is a skylight in the roof, allowing a view of the interior from the seats above.
Skylight. Oh!
The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats of the omnibus when the murder took place. That's how they came to witness this grim incident. Through the skylight.
That makes perfect sense.
Well, counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench.
Judge, your toupee, it moved.
I've never experienced the crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Very well. I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence.
Let's go. I can't believe it. The entire crime scene was added to the evidence.
Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary.
I couldn't help myself, but I couldn't help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination. I could help myself. Seeing as it's here.
Let us continue with proceedings, then. Your cross-examination, counsel. Pray don't expect this Nipponese stray to understand the intricacies of British courts' cross-examination rights.
All right, my first cross-examination in a British court. I love that slap. Focus, Ryunosuke. Focus. Ooh, that looks nice. So, can I look at the omnibus now? Oh my god, I can look inside the whole damn thing. Holy frick. Wow, I get to actually examine the entire murder scene.
Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we?
Why am I eating so much? I ate one cookie. I had one cookie. One! Singular cookie. Is that so much? The scene of the murder. It's horrible. Oh, I actually... Oh. What's this? Yeah, and so was I. My hyperbole goes once again away into the wind. The seat has a handle, it seems. Who brought a Zelda chest in here? This looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running.
Feeding tubs, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems.
And there doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to stow their luggage, that's for sure.
Well, I don't imagine it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway.
You don't throw chests, you throw pots. And this looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the... Oh. So I can't look at unique ones? Okay. Blood stain. That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victim's, obviously.
Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck.
Would you really stab someone in full view of other passengers like that, I wonder?
Well, it was after dark. And there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight?
Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. Notice. Ah, that's a poster for the Great Exhibition that's due to start in 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition.
Ooh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement.
Fizzing? Fizzing with excitement, my dear ma'am. Alright. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it?
Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view of the entire cabin from the roof deck.
And there doesn't appear to be a handle or a hat, or catch of any description. So I suppose it can't be opened from inside the cabinet, at least. Ugh. Is it the same thing? You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure.
Yes, and there's a lamp inside the, there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. So I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly.
It's not good for us. This is where the funny guy sits. Anything else to make of this? What? Ah! What? That's what? Huh? What do you mean? What does that mean? You can't put that in there. That's not right. He's not even born yet. Prime is fucking grandpa. That is not real. Who wrote that?
You can find out in the next fucking Ace Attorney game they go back in time. Bruh. They should have a little thing where you can, like, examine it. It goes, Phoenix Wright, what a fucking stupid-ass goddamn name. Who would name their kid that? You. You would.
It was the last bus of the evening, so I had few customers. I remember it well.
His nose looks like a sausage. Looks like it's got grill marks.
The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then, out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
Hold it! Olé! Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, sir, that's quite right, sir. Yes. Ever so cold. It was freezing, in fact.
And you had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct?
Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same parts of the bus, but of course, though, you know.
And there were no other passengers when the incident took place? No one alighted, for example?
You're quite right with that one, sir. No other passengers like that. No, none.
So nobody fled the scene of the crime, then.
I have to say, the boss insists on it running, he does, every evening, the last bus of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, sorry to say.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I spend that much at the pub on the way home, just trying to warm up again.
You don't think he's innocent? Well, he's our one test to become a true lawyer, so he better be fucking innocent. Bro's literally our one chance to become a fully fledged lawyer in England. Otherwise, we're fucked. And you saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage.
That's right. When you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. There was a lamp on inside, so I had a pretty good view. 2 of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded.
Is that even what he's wearing? No, that's not what he's wearing at all. They could have been wearing something else, but that does not look like him to me. Mr. McGilded might actually be under where he is right now. And that's someone else. I mean, yeah, if it's not him, then it has to have been. Fair play to you. Is that his gag? Bruce Fairplay. Works as a city banker. He witnessed the incident from the top deck of the omnibus. Bruce Fairplay. When's Bruce Foreplay?
But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded.
How can you be so sure?
Well, how can I put it politely? Mr. McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else.
But you just said you couldn't see his face.
Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. Gilded.
Alright, so we have another locked room mystery, sort of.
There's no room for doubt here.
I really wish there was.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened?
Didn't I already testify that? Or are fair dinkum, hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days?
No, I didn't mean it like that. This is no good. I really got this, got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail, if that's...
My lord!
Juror number 3, what's the meaning of this?
My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up.
Made up about what?
I don't like the stinking rich, never have.
This is Laser right here.
They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be, every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me.
Oh.
There's no point in wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter, anyway.
This is precisely what I was about to say.
Uh-oh.
As for the foreman of the jury, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors.
What's happening here?
Let's see. Yeah, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts.
With fire?
Apparently, yeah. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one, they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, as we saw a moment ago.
So, if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean...
Let's do our best to make sure that doesn't happen.
Now I'm even more worried than I was before. What does that mean? Does that mean, like, I can't press as much as I want to, or... How's that gonna work?
Very well, the court acknowledges the change of the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
This is a nightmare.
That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it.
He stabbed him, you say? And you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you?
Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little green gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed.
Bro does not look green.
I'd been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was gazing absent-mindedly around. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right out of his belly, that huge great knife.
A grim sight indeed.
Ugh. That didn't help me at all. Uh-oh.
It appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGilded is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First,
Yes, sir.
is this the knife you saw?
Oh, good grief. Yes, that's it. That's the very one, sir.
Is that?
Yes, counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly, like a stake through the heart.
That is a blade of considerable size, counsel. Nice cock!
It is. And furthermore, the scabbard is, emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar.
Please, no.
M for Magnus, perhaps? McGilded, possibly? Take your pick. It seems this particular a big name in London made us a magnificent mistake. Yes.
Objection! But there's M's everywhere.
Yeah! Like in Mason!
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder most certainly belongs to the accused.
Ugh.
Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel.
My lord, if you'll forgive me for the interruption.
Ah, juror number 2. Go on.
Don't you have to be like 18 to be in the jury? Well, I guess this is the 1900s. I can't really go by our logic, but how old are you? Oh, you're not even on my thingy. I'm not allowed to know. Yeah, I guess we're not allowed to get their names or anything.
Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman, and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Wait! What are you about to do?
Dispose of the rubbish.
Okay, who hasn't... The typewriter lady and the grandma have not voted yet.
I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime.
Oh, shit.
I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion.
Oh, please, Mr. Green Man, don't vote! We haven't done anything yet! Not again!
That's 4 out of the 6 jury members who proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left.
We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse.
Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark.
I suppose I'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly.
We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something.
But, alright, I'll keep trying. Well, we did just get some new information. We got the murder weapon. We can now examine that. Alright. Do-do-do-do. Let's look at this bloody thing, shall we? That part is the sheath, isn't it?
Are you all right, Mr. Naruhodo?
No, oh, sorry, yeah, I just don't really like blades.
Oh, well, these don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist.
It's not a blade, it's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Ooh. Oh dear. Are we gonna figure out that that's actually a W and not an M? Is that gonna be like the big trick? An ornate letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilded's initial.
It's beautifully gilded, too. It must be very valuable.
Ugh.
What is it?
Look at this M. You turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change it. Oh no, are you making fun of me, game? I'm sorry, I thought maybe that would be that's like an Ace Attorney thing to do.
A W?
Yes, it's one of those, you know, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it.
I'm afraid I don't know at all. But what I am sure of is that this is an M.
Well, that idea was quickly quashed. Oh! Me and Ryu on the same wavelength. Ugh, that looks like a lot of blood.
It surely is blood. The victims.
Ugh, an Englishman's blood looks like a lot like a Japan man's blood. Japan man. Japanese man's blood. You can't say that about yourself, Ryu. Come on now. Come on, man.
Did you think it wouldn't? We're all human.
I'm sorry. It's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I thought they might have like blue or green blood or I don't know. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust.
Yeah, I do understand.
We are gonna have fish and chips for dinner, though, aren't we? That sheath is like 2 centimeters thick. You can't put a sword in there. Alright, does anybody have a W in their name? Oh, I can't look at people? Wait. No, I can. Right? Wait, what? I just did it the other... Isn't it? I guess I can't. Not right now, at least. Did I really... I don't want to press those by accident. No. Omnibus, defendant's leather gloves. We didn't look at the leather gloves. They look pretty normal. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London. Well, nothing will come of grumbling now. No. By the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Pity, if only you'd been left-handed. I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. At least we could have used it. Hem for murder weapon. What exactly did you see?
Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, he collapsed on the floor. Yes.
And by the passenger, you're obviously referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
And the other passenger had that knife in his hand like this.
And by other passenger, you're obviously referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded.
And then he plunged it down like this, just stabbing at the other passenger in the belly.
Stabbing the... but... apparently... it was one stab wound, right? Right? Stabbed once. Yep. Add that to your testimony, please. What?
My lord, I wish to speak. Yes, juror number 5. Do I take it that you too? As the master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. But I've heard enough now. The horse has bolted, as they say.
No! Please! Just...
Yep, now, Silver Blaze. The finish is in sight.
Just hold on a second! Have that added to the testimony, and you, Grandma, just wait 5 minutes!
Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir.
This is too unkind, sir. Which now means the 5 jurors agree to condemn this man. Madame Juror number 6.
Yes, dearie. What can I do for you?
You've heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand.
Oh, yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know.
Then, pray tell, what are you yet to pronounce your leaning? Why are you yet to pronounce your leaning?
Well, dear, the thing is, I am a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGilded Park, it's called. The gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on the Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life.
He's always doing wonderful things for the city.
That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely.
Mother, may we go see McGilded Public Library after and borrow some books?
How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know that billionaires are pieces of shit? What kind of man Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of man is he? The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. Is this Van Zeek's theme? Actually, is it Van Zykes? Is it Van Zeek's or Zykes? Big Boss! Pronunciation report. I could see it either way, honestly. But I would spells like Zikes, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to turn my lights on. It's getting a little dim. Well, I'll just keep saying Zeeks until I get corrected. Since Big Boss is the one who wanted to clobber me for saying Kazuma's name wrong, I'm sure I'll be let known. It's enough wealth to purchase the entire city as he claims. He claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the darkest of very darkest souls. What?
Stone the crows!
McGilded lends money at extortionate rates of interest to his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He's a vulture that preys on the weak.
I've never heard of any mention of that before.
Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, dear madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have had to make use of a public omnibus service?
Google says Zeeks? Yeah. Unless I read it initially, so. You're not saying that!
Poor victim of brickmaker had next to nothing to his name, save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor, the accused, Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debts. Oh, gracious! The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house, and he had not a shilling with which to repay his debt. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless, philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded.
I don't believe it!
If I might add something briefly,
Miss Susato?
you claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded? But where's the evidence to support your claim?
Okay, bro's just about to have a little glass of wine real quick in the middle of a case.
It's actually grape juice. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in the court of law. Oh, there it is! Lord Van Zeek's hallowed chalice!
How can this be considered acceptable?
But I find myself in an unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself.
As a judicial assistant to the defense, I'm simply doing my job.
What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all moneys loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside.
Oh,
Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. A marvelous toast, counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence.
Now, is bro drinking wine or grape juice?
Ah, yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. The accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Okay, how much is 20 guineas today? I'm gonna check. Hey, Google. How much is 20 guineas in today's day and age?
It's tricky to give a single, precise today's value for 20 guineas.
Okay.
Here's why. Historical fluctuations. The guinea was a gold coin used in England, and later Great Britain.
Okay.
Its value wasn't always fixed. It was originally valued at 20 shillings,
Okay.
but later fixed at 21 shillings,
All right.
£1 and 5 pence.
Okay.
Two ways to consider value. Gold content guineas were made of gold, so
Okay.
their value fluctuates with the current gold price.
Okay.
Therefore, the value of the gold contained in the coins is easily calculated by knowing the current price of
Okay.
gold. Purchasing power. How much could 20 guineas buy in the past compared to what that amount of money could buy today? This is much harder to calculate and
He doesn't have an actual answer. I read ahead. There's no actual answer.
The accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused.
And it's such a pretty little park, too. What a scoundrel.
No, Grandma, don't do it!
Still, maybe it's all for the best.
Wait a minute! Let's think about this a little more before...
I don't stand for nonsense.
Oh, God. That was it. The last juror's decision. I literally have an objection and they won't let me object! Bro said he stabbed him twice, but we have clear evidence that he only stabbed him once. Let me object it. Well, shit. You win some, you lose some. According to this Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. Did I actually fail, or are you supposed to fail the first time? 18,000 USD right now, currently. Damn, and he was gonna give us 1,000 guineas. God damn. Oh, if you failed, the game would have ended. Okay, fair enough. Oh! There's a footnote, though. A footnote? However, the defense...
All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement, so get the defense out of here before they can pull some bullshit.
By the way, Big Boss, what's he drinking? Is he drinking grape juice or wine? This is very important.
I'm to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision.
He is drinking wine? Oh my god. He's grown up. Also... what is the meaning of this?
According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust that there are no objections.
Turnabout time travel. I literally made that joke as well. Ace 37. You'll figure it out. Susato, just tell me one thing.
Oh, yeah?
You're in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law. However, the defense... what did it say next?
However, the defense must cry and weep. Too bad, so sad, it says. Verbatim. Oh yes, of course, one moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, the presiding, blah, blah, blah. And the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point.
Summation examination? Can I get a clarification?
Objection! What in the tarnation? Summation examination. From which century has that tome you there have been resurrected?
The year number 2.
Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck.
Oh.
Just have to pull the armband up a little bit. Good for you. What even is it, Miss Sato? This so-called summation examination.
Oh, one moment, and I'll read about it.
You would demand the right to procedure before you even understand what it entails. Typical Nipponese.
Typical racist.
Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury.
To do what exactly?
Appeal to them to change their leaning and reverse their decisions. And it says here that if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed.
Make them reverse their decisions.
Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really. So it rather fell out of use.
Wonder why.
Because it was devoid of purpose.
Look up the artist for DBD and tell me your thoughts. You mean like the artist that worked on the game, or a character named The Artist? I guess I'll find out. The Artist, DBD. Oh, no, it's Carmina Mora, The Artist. Here we go. You want my thoughts on her? Okay, it won't let me look at the picture up close. I can play her music for a second. Ooh, she's got like goo hands. She's got like, she's Venom mode. I like that. Bro's got like a fucking lore 5 paragraphs long. All right, here let's take a little peek at the music. Oh, wait, this is menu music. Okay, that's fucking loud as shit. Alright. And then Terra Radius. I don't know what that means. You're in the radius of her? Oh, spooky. Is she a smash? Oh, okay. You can just say smash or pass. You don't have to be coy about it. Let me get a full picture. Definitely a pass for me. She's very cool. Ooh, that's a cool. She got like a goo raven she can throw out. That's cool. I have no attraction to this woman whatsoever. I'm sorry, that's a pass for me. Fucking coward. Come on, are you? By that, I'm guessing you're. I can, surmise what you would say. I don't know. She just looks like a scary woman. Nothing too interesting. All day, every day. Okay, well. Bro wants that goo hand. Bro's into that goo hand, man. I don't know. Nothing really grasps me, sexually. But, she's a cool character, though. She can moor me whenever she wants. Well, standards, I just don't find her attractive. I mean, is that standards or just taste? It's a fictional character. I mean, standards don't really apply. It's lack of taste. It's my unique taste, and it's mine. Okay? Listen, I'm sorry we can't tag team her. Sorry. Is she an OG character, or is she like a crossover character? Is she from something else? It's hard to tell with Dead by Daylight. I don't even know if they have any unique characters. Oh, okay, she is OG. Alright. I didn't even know that Dead by Daylight had lore. I thought it was just like a... Freddy Fazbear! Ooh! They have a lot of unique characters. I guess all the crossover stuff must have come after them. I don't know, just seeing it from afar, it kind of looked like horror Fortnite to me. A little bit. I know, there's probably... A lot of people probably would fucking kill me for saying that, but... Yeah, I know, I saw the wiki page.
Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would ever assert...
Excuse me, Mr. Van Zeeks, I don't serve coffee.
No self-respecting defense barrister would... barrister? Would even assert his right to try in this day and age.
Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I'm plumb out of luck, so let's try it. Forget it. We don't need it. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, me lord.
Objection!
He's got a good objection. I don't know why they're such pussies. Just make it louder. Oh yeah, Pyramid Head is in the game. Pyramid Head's a perfect character. There is a lot of perfect characters for TBD. It's a genius concept. There's a lot of slasher killers in media. She's gonna be mad? I think she would agree. She can pretend to be mad, but when we start playing Dead by Daylight, she ain't gonna pick it. She's not gonna pick anyone else. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. What do I have it at? Oop. That's still a problem, by the way, Capcom. If you ever see this, my biggest complaint, the objections are so shitty. Like, the modern objections are so bad. Up the volume, up the enthusiasm. Come on, man. It ain't that fucking hard to yell objection. No, I don't even know. I'm not... Why would I know that? Ask her yourself.
London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on Earth.
Well, that's short-lived.
We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of the judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
Objection!
She's not here. You can DM her on Discord, dude. You guys are friends, man. You don't have to do everything in my Twitch chat. If you really want to know. My favorite lore piece of DVD is that the entity, the thing making the killers kill and survivors play the game, fucking hates Freddy Krueger and took most of his powers. Well, because I've never seen Freddy Krueger. Is he just overpowered in his movie? And they're just like, what the fuck you, bro? Play by our rules, you little shit. Little fucker. All I know about Freddy Krueger is the Rick and Morty episode. I'm sure that's like less than Cliff Notes. But it's our right. It's our right. I believe it could prove vital to this trial. Would you not say you guys are friends? Like what? I thought you guys were friends. You haven't read the lore yourself, but your friend gives you lore tidbits. You should go watch a 10-hour lore video. I'm sure they exist. Hey, hold on. Let me look. DBD lore vid. The story of every killer in Dead by Daylight, 1 hour and 30 minutes. A year ago. Oh, that's a funny looking killer. They didn't get the rights for Ghostface, only the Ghostface mask? Oh, okay. Who? Oh, of the YouTube video I was looking at? Or the killer that I saw? I don't know the name of the killer, it's just in a thumbnail. I guess I can describe them. Well, the YouTube channel of the people who did every story of the killers is Krezel. And the guy that I was ogling is big. He's got a funny, like, average Joe blue collared shirt. He's got a very twisty, funny looking head. It's like a snail head or some shit. It's funny looking. Not an actual snail head, just the neck was all like elongated and slug-like. Cool look. Cool look. Looks Silent Hill-ish. Oh, by the way, I don't know. It was just like the face and some of the body. It was a YouTube thumbnail. Sorry, Silent Hill though. That jogged my memory. I was gonna talk about it. I don't know. At some point, I wanted to talk about it. Silent Hill F got its reviews from ESRB, I think, and apparently it's very grotesque. They're going very hard with it, so I'm very excited. There was some really cool descriptions that they stated in their little preview. Obviously, it's due to change. It's still in development, but I think it's coming out this year, so it'll be fun. The Unknown. Let me quickly look. Why are all killers like
The googly moogly, the undetected. Oops. The unanimous mystery man.
Let me see. Yeah, it's that guy. He's cool looking. He was in a thumbnail. Whoa. Look at the dredge. We're supposed to be playing Ace Attorney, but okay, let me look at the dredge. The dredge. Oh, he was in the thumbnail with him. He was on the left. This guy looks like Mara from Persona 3 and 5. That very much looks like a Silent Hill character. The creature. It's a very similar design philosophy, I would say. It's very fleshy, like familiar, non-familiar, kind of look to it. Bro, what the fuck? Blushin', don't even jokel yourself. You would definitely play him, okay? Don't even jostle. Don't even joke about that. Hey, you're never the one bringing it up. But if you had the chance... You would definitely play as Pyramid Head without question, bro. Ah, now Laser's trying to act like the good guy. Yeah, okay.
The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Yeah. Well, I'm not. There was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so all members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they've reached their decision. On what grounds? You must all testify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Oh, well, my lord, you're putting us on the spot.
This is most irregular. No mention of this was made before.
I don't really hold any of all this justifying lark. It seems to have thrown the jurors off. I'd actually be Ghostface, but I digress. Really, you, as everybody ribbing you for being horny for Pyramid Head ruined him for you? Because I'd be sad if that happened, because you seem to really like him. Didn't want to take that away. Just a friendly ribbing. A friendly Twitch ribbing, as they say.
Seems most of them have experienced this before.
Alright then. The summation examination. Defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Ghostface is harder to be chased by? Well, apparently they didn't get the rights to the real Ghostface, because so it's a unique Ghostface. So you say that now, but when Springtrap gets added, you'll be changing your tune. Friendly ribbing? Have you not heard that saying before? I don't know. I like that saying. A defense procedure no practicing lawyers attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for. It means joking. It means kidding. Kidding around. Ribbing ya. It's normal. Busting your chops. Pants down, booty up. That is crazy. That is crazy, dude. That is a crazy sentence. Bro would not even be running away from the killers. Bro would be enticing them. Better not be on my surviving team when we play. We're just gonna get hooked on purpose. This is the opportunity we've been looking for to turn this trial around.
So be it then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant, Magnus McGilded, guilty of this most serious crime.
So, we're gonna have to go through this before we can get back to the testimony, which there was a clear objection at the end. If they just added it to the fucking testimony. Now we gotta go through this? Alright.
There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him.
I trust the driver. He's an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence.
He stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen.
I've simply typed and collated all of the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion.
You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years.
Scoundrel stabbing the poor man on the floor. It beggars belief.
I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now.
Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they?
Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get 6 people to change their minds. I'll have to throw everything I can at them and use some very persuasive language. Like, if you do it, I'll give you 5 pence.
Just a moment, Naruhodo. According to my book, that's not quite how it works.
Oh? I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant.
Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant's guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says.
But then...
They've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become.
Then what on earth am I supposed to do?
Oh dear, I'm deciding what I've read about in British law, Naruhodo.
Alright, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work, then?
Well, from what I can understand, the key is this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments.
What do you mean?
Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they're complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together.
And that's the way to break them down, you mean?
Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can entrust these statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other.
I see, so it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say we're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to a regular cross-examination.
Oh, yes, I suppose you're right.
Find contradictions in their statements, and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Well, this should be fun. Alright, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not quite right. I have to pull this off!
Who's pulling off in here? Can we start proceedings, counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal.
Yes, my lord.
My lord.
I couldn't even read that. The defense's rebuttal. Bum 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 bum. I can still press, okay. Because no one else was out of the carriage at the time, so it must have been him. Just the driver has an excellent memory. It seems 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. This is a banger.
Stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen.
You can trust the guild. Fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years.
Scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor beggars belief.
Well, you and him are talking about money, so maybe get a little bit of that. But does his ability to recall his takings that night really tell us how trustworthy the man is?
I manage all his lordship's cash affairs, so I'm very particular when it comes to accounts.
I see.
A single penny can mean the difference between life and death, after all, can it? Can't it?
That's the saying in your country?
My point is, a man who minds his figures is a man you can trust. Those of us in service would swear to that, sir.
Does that bench really need any more polishing?
The good driver says that he saw Mr. McGilded in the act. I don't doubt him. The only task left to do today is disposing of the rubbish.
Now wait a minute. One of the other jurors mentioned something about money, I think. Yeah, 20 pence? But he says it was 4 each! Wait a minute!
Objection!
Objection! Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other. my god. Ryu's fucking objection sucks. Please tell me they improve it in the next game, because objection does not sound good. Objection!
They do. Explain yourself, Captain.
Me? Oh dear, what have I said? Objection!
It's the same voice line. No, dude. Ryu! Grow some balls, man. Your fucking boyfriend is dead, my man. You have to man up. Objection!
Objection! I swear on Silver Blaze's maiden name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about.
Oh shit, we're walking back and forth. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. That's how you know it's serious. We're pacing. According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo... That's so... Wait, can I see his full name again? It's just Beppo. His name is just Beppo. He took 20 pence in fares.
Quite right. I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me.
And juror number 5 has also told us the following. The fare of the omnibus is always 4 pence.
Well, that it is. A fair and convenient single price. But just the way London's carriages should be operated.
But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts.
Why, man? Why?
What? Could you explain what, you know... Do you know what 4 times 4 is, my good man? Do you know... do you know the answer? Because it is not 20. 4 passengers paying 4 pence each, if you do the multiplication.
It would be 16 pence.
Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely, 1 person's fare.
One person's fare.
Yes. In other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible. There was another passenger we haven't heard anything about.
Good gracious. This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, and one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword.
The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon.
Okay. They're literally all fighting now. Yes.
Yes. Fight, my pretties, fight.
Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus. Shit! Sorry, my fidget cube fell. I was fiddling with it.
All right then. How do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end?
Revoke your fucking shit, bitch! Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire onto the innocent side of the set of scales.
Hold your horses there, coachman. We're all in agreement. Why'd you have to go?
All these objections suck. Well, our prosecutor's one was good. That was fine.
Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo!
Oh, I didn't realize their seats would change. And Cosmos was alright too, yeah. It's just, Ryu's really, it really sucks.
Objection! Objection, your majesty, I'm gay. And I have an objection. This court law is homophobic. My boyfriend is dead 'cause he fell over.
This is very irritating.
Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same.
Big Boss just said it doesn't get good. He said it's the same voice line.
For the love of Mike, not you as well.
For the love of Mike? Who is Mike? Objection! Who's this Mike you speak of?
A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all.
Yeah, I asked Big Boss if he will be better in the next game, and he said it's the same voice line. We just asked that. Whole way of saying love of God.
I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters.
Oh, really?
I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo, you did it! If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue.
2 more. Actually, there's something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions.
And that's where you strike next.
So we need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's another contradiction in their assertions.
Exactly. You can do it.
Want to be like way easier now? Can't we just? Shouldn't it be the people who are still voting guilty? Processes of elimination and all. Oh yeah, her one's gone now. It's blacked out. Now, let's see. I want to ask Big Boss, will I get new testimonies by pressing these people, or no? Like, surely, for some of them, yeah, right? I'm guessing I will have to. I just want to ask, because, you know. Sometimes, okay. Yeah, I was just curious. Alright. No one else inside the carriage at the time, so it must have been him. Oh, wait, look! He's got something to say. He doesn't have a... I think that's telling me to press him.
Hold it!
As I was asking. Be careful, you could hurt somebody with that. You're a fine one to talk. What of the sword hanging from your waist, hmm? No, that's just my battered soul. Well, anyway, I despise anyone with too much money. They're all the same, all stabbing some brickmaker or other behind the scenes. You mock my words.
Audition! That seems very unlikely, doesn't it?
Are you mad, man? We know that small shorty is a rotten Shylock. Yes, that shorty's booty do be bouncing. Well, yeah, that does seem to be the case, but...
Mr. Naruhodo, please, be careful what you say.
If he's been trying to squeeze money out of the less fortunate, then as far as I'm concerned, he's as guilty as sin. The man can hang. Come to think of it, didn't one of the other jurors have something to say about the defendant's underhand activities? Test my theory. There we go. Oh, and I can also talk to her about it. Okay.
Hold it!
I'm glad they do that. That's nice. What have you been doing all this time?
What have you been doing all this time? I should have thought it was obvious. I am recording everything that takes place as a part of these proceedings.
And what have you learned from that?
For example, at this moment in time, the judge has used his gavel 11 times in total. The prosecution has snorted derisively at your remarks 7 times in total. And I might add, each time you've gawped like a simpleton.
Thank you. What's the point exactly?
So, anyway, madam, are you able to explain why you think the defendant is guilty?
That is a conclusion I've drawn as the result of my copious notes.
Clearly, but I'm asking you to explain why you've drawn that conclusion.
Please don't distract me. It makes it extremely hard to concentrate on my note-keeping.
This is going nowhere. Oh, no. I wanted to...
Oh, I got it.
Chill out, bro. We gotta peg grandma. Oh, I mean, pit grandma against... Not right now. Pit. Pit, you?
Objection!
Wait, no! I did it on the wrong guy. Ah, fuck. Okay, I gotta press it on the person. Oops. Oops. My bad. I wasn't thinking. Those two statements are completely contradictory.
What? Explain, counsel, post haste.
Oh, dearie me. I was only letting her jump over my other half.
What's all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3. What, can't you see I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? Want to test me, do ya? It was like this. Struck the fellow right next to him, without even getting up. Just like that prim banker said.
Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony, quite true.
Now then, juror number 6.
Is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam?
Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so.
Now don't move! Take a good look at these two jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor.
Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions.
What?
Oh, bless my stitches, what a muddle!
What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth.
Oh.
But why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet. But what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen all in good conscience?
Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies. The scales.
I don't believe it.
What, you don't believe just, how balancing works?
Now hear this, my fellow jurors, I warn you. You cannot listen to this man. Look at him. His black suit, he's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all.
If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this?
Answer me these dark jinx.
Huh? Me?
Exactly is the problem. What of it if two witnesses have slightly different recollections of events?
What of it?
Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus, and this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor, and then the Shylock stabbed him again. Then this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like
The post-mortem report?
Who are you calling dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you! Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you!
They're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman of the jury be right? The two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime? Out of the question! Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman.
what is it, you dark jinx? Come on, out with it. Out with it.
What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question. Bing, bing, bing.
What are you talking about, man? How could you possibly say that?
With evidence?
You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? Now that's what I want to see. I say the two witnesses saw different moments of the same crime. You say that's out of the question? Show me some proof.
As you wish.
What?
I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw different moments in the exact same crime, as proven by late autopsy report. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen. Only once.
Only once?
It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen 2 different times. All right, I concede defeat. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning towards not guilty.
We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won.
I like that little fucking whip she did.
Mr. Naruhodo, I believe the British like to do a little whip and nay-nay.
What are you playing at, you Dundee fool?
Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me.
But we had a consensus.
I said shut your trap. I know a lie when I see one. If the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. I really don't like that. That makes me very uncomfortable. Please tell me he's a barber.
In a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large quantity majority of the jury for me to adjudicate.
Adjudicate? Adjudicate?
And the trial must continue.
Yippee! Hooray!
I must ask the defense, prosecution and witnesses to return to their places. And I must call upon you again to pursue the truth. The truth! So, Lord Van Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please.
Burr never said a word. Oh, shit!
Having severed the written room of the common contents of this kind of chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Van Zeeks!
Is it cold in here, or is it just me?
As your antiquated tomb no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination.
Oh!
So I ordered a deathly silence and listened to the charade. Seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury.
Got him.
But no matter. There's nothing so hard as to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle.
Oh no! He's torn his cape off! He's serious now!
Bring forth the witnesses once more! Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure.
Oh, yes, sir. That I did, sir.
Of course I heard it.
Oh, yes, sir, I heard it.
You saw the coachman. I believe it's, Beppo.
Yes, sir, my lord, sir, yes.
If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir.
Yeah. Oh, mio Dio.
Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again.
Do you know how many times I tried to stop myself from saying that? Just because it sounds close.
We will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination.
Are they gonna start reacting to each other? I can't wait to press one of those. Because we've only done the tutorial for that. We haven't done a proper one yet.
I only carried 4 passengers that night, I swear, but,
Well, I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
He fiddled on us on the fare, he did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much.
I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yeah, yes.
Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cousinage.
yeah.
Bravo! Explain yourself!
I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster.
The guild fares 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging your passengers by a penny a fare?
It's so cold, and the last round of the day it is always half empty.
You've been dishonest, coachman.
I'm sorry.
You're a disgrace, Beppo! A disgrace! And your selfish actions have brought dishonor to the entire guild.
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week.
What?
4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently.
Yeah, because... Never mind, I'm not even gonna dignify that. No, that figures.
Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games.
Absolutely! Bro, they're shaking like a leaf. Alright. Wait, there's more? Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Let me get you on that, because they didn't bring that up when they were talking about our findings in the examination. Earlier, you testified that you saw the moment of the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you?
Oh, yes, that's right.
You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip.
I suppose. I might have, yes, you put the cart before the horse, maybe.
What's this?
Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. No, I expect that was me, sir. Then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor, and the knife was sticking out of his midriff. And his pants were a lift. A tent he did make. That's right, yes. The fellow was holding the handle of the famous man, yes.
So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all.
I really thought I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I?
Struth?
Excuse me.
Excuse me, what did you mean by that?
Struth!
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh?
Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Some days are like that. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight at the top, on the top of an omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it clear as a Ballarat day. A Ballarat day? A Ballarat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. No, I can do that, all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man?
Blood-soaked? Bro, I had one little thing. Bro, it was like a little smidge of blood. Blood-soaked hands.
Well, I admit that soap might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's a little more than peculiar.
What?
Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question.
Oh, yes, right.
And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there, but, as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. Munching on your cane, I see? How does that cane taste, Mr. Fairplay? Your testimony's inconsistent!
But no, that can't be right.
So you're the liar, then?
That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said it was both hands. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire your testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection! It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing the man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands, it was only one. The fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
Objection! No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated he saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court.
I'm a city banker, for Pete's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate.
He's claiming to have no reason to lie. But is that really the case?
Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely.
Something to show this man had a compelling reason to lie in his testimony? Oh, wait, hold on. We never looked at this. This portfolio must contain all sorts of London gentry.
Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside?
Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder.
I assure you we will not find Mr. Shome's name inside.
Well, let's see what we find. Mr. Shomes, Mr. Shomes, Mr. Shomes. Wow, he's in here multiple times. I thought I'd actually be able to read it. Bro, it's fucking scribbles.
Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it?
Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off.
Goodness!
What is it?
Look at this. Do you see this name here?
Bruce Fairplay. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar. Yeah, it's exactly what we needed.
Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment.
Oh, yeah, of course, the banker! He's still talking! Why's his name in here? He borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching.
It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could very well be useful information.
Wait, are you telling me he was trying to get our guy locked up so that he didn't have to pay his fine? Based? I say let him go. Person debt. I have evidence. My lord!
Yes, counsel.
The defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove, are you sure?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had a reason to lie in his testimony.
Very well. I hereby call the defense to present its evidence. The defense, the evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
Take that!
This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded.
Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused's extortion.
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 The point is, among the names of the debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worth being called a debt.
According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
Well, these documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. Annulled. They would cease to exist, is what I'm trying to say.
Cease to exist?
Mr. Fairplay, Is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something that you never in fact saw? In a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant?
You mean I still have to pay the 20 guineas? Order, order, order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord. Let me ask you again. Was it gambling money? Did you go to gamble with your guinea and you lost it? Let me ask you again.
Oh, wait, it's R2 for that. Oh, no, R1 works too. I just couldn't do it earlier. Okay.
Let me ask you again. And be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Is it not obvious he's fucking nervous? He's biting, bending his cane, he's twirling around, doing a little jig. Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
Oh, all right, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch.
A pinch?
But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on Mr. McGilden's hands, both of them.
Objection!
Objection! I already proved that's not right. And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained.
So you keep saying.
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir?
Go ahead, Mr. Faust.
Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands? I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was both of his hands, not just one.
What? What?
I'm glad he still backs up into the wall.
It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all of your witnesses. This time I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear?
Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. I thought you were going to say least. So that came out weird. Yes! I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Witness testimony. Objection!
There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired. That matters.
I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both the attacker's hands with blood on them.
Yeah, I didn't actually see anything myself, no. Not until I heard the scream.
Anyway, the fact remains. There can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we would have all seen. Well, lo and behold, in truth of fact, not one of you witnessed to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, can you blame a man for wanting to get out of his gambling debt? No, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man did it.
That's really not what testimony's about.
Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Yes, my lord. kind of looks a little like Apollo on that little close-up on his face right there. Doesn't make sense, but similarly. Alright, well, we won't have to do another Emancipation Proclamation, will we? If I press too much? I think the doubt has set into the jury, I think, already, so hopefully it won't change again. But I guess, I don't know. It's scripted? Okay. It's getting late, you're gonna go to bed. Go sleepy sleep. Good night then.
Hold it!
No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves of the defendant. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing in the night, on the night in question, in the court record. I'm probably only gonna go for another half hour anyway. That's about how much I said at the end of the Skyward Sword stream. Till about like 7:30. 3-4 hours.
I'm well aware of that, sir, but nonetheless, I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands.
He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken, but why?
Your reasoning is dire.
One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged.
Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers.
Hold it!
Hold it! Don't try to downplay this! Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime. As a matter of fundamental importance, as well as you know.
But, for crying out loud, we all know no one else could have done it. I was just trying to save us all some time.
Oh, I like that finger tap. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? How do you hope to release yourself from that financial burden? By ensuring the defendant was found guilty?
No, well, that's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the derby.
He was gambling! I knew it. I called it.
I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend. That's a sure thing.
A little guinea or 10.
I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness.
Is that really how it's supposed to work?
Hold it!
You definitely saw that too? Blood on both hands?
Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilded's gloves has any sign of blood on it.
That's right.
The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilded sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir.
He wasn't wearing these gloves?
That's correct, sir. I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly.
It's true that the dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see.
I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilded's gloved hands.
There wasn't blood on his hands.
Well, this is puzzling indeed.
This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it. Well, there you go. Do I know who committed the crime yet? Well, it had to be one of these guys, right? Well, I'm guessing you're asking me because they're here, which makes sense. Well, I'm guessing it was probably Beppo. Beppo's the most mysterious. His name is just Beppo? Nobody's named just Beppo. Unless they're just gonna... They could just straight up just say, you know, the most innocent guy is the, you know, lady first. Apprentice milliner who witnessed the incident from his seat on the roof deck of the omnibus. You could have done it too. But you... But you kind of corroborated by Bruce. And he was driving. Do 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 do. It was Male Strongheart. He did it. He has an M in his name. Actually, though, could it be? Wait a minute. Does he have such a strong heart after all?
Mr. Fairplay didn't see Mr. Mason being stabbed at all. That's a hugely significant change in the facts of the case.
There's something else that occurred to me whilst listening to the witness's latest testimony. Two of them are recounting what they saw through the skylight on the omnibus roof.
I know it's a large window, and certainly affords a good view of the inside, but...
You're just saying that because he looks evil? He looks evil and his name starts with M. We're under the assumption that that's... Okay, well, actually, if that is his knife, then he could have easily had that stolen off him because he was sleeping. But you're right. I am just saying that because he looks evil. I did investigate the knife, yeah. And it's, yeah, it could be a W too, but then the game said, well, you're stupid for thinking that. And it's like, oh. Well, fuck. Beppo. Nobody has a W in their name either. It could be something else. I could look again. Oh, it's a little horsey! Oh my god, it's a little horsey. It was Bruce, he killed him. Bruce did it. It was Bruce. So you tried to frame him for murder? Okay, buddy, but why don't you just kill him instead? Bro was already there with a knife and he was sleeping, I mean... He could have killed him. I think it was Bruce now. I kind of got thrown off the trail because he was, you know, he had a whole reason for lying in his testimony, but... I don't think it was him. But... Then again, he was sitting next to Lady First, right? So... I don't know. Let's keep going.
I think perhaps we ought to confirm what you're saying, what they're saying with our own eyes as much as possible.
What do you mean?
I mean that we can examine the evidence firsthand. The omnibus is here in the courtroom after all.
It's a good idea. And consider the witnesses' statements while we're looking around. Blood on both hands of the assailants. Suppose you're right, I didn't see the exact moment. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both attackers' hands with blood on them. Wait, why did that reset? I didn't touch that. It can't have been anyone else inside that carriage. Oh, wait. Yeah, no. There could have been, easily.
Objection!
I was actually waiting for that. Because I did notice from the window, from where you would be sitting, you could only see in one side of the cabin, not the entire thing.
The people sitting below you, you can't see.
Like, directly below you. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight in the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? In the kitchen with the knife with Colonel Mustard?
That's right, yes.
In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you.
What?
By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. That at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Are we just gonna say that... Oh, wait, do we not have that image of them both sitting next to each other? I guess that was a recollection, but the suit that that person was wearing was not the same one that he's wearing now. Obviously, he could have changed clothes, but, you know, if we're going logically here, it was not that suit. It didn't look like that. It was like a dark black, you know, oddly familiar, eh, Mr. Bruce? Look closer to you than him.
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that the potential extra passenger could have been situated?
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of the travel, whereas the seats on the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight is as I've drawn here.
Bruh.
That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured by view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it.
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there.
You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. Ambiguity, of course, yes. I don't know why I said that with such a weird disdain in my voice, but whatever. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder in a British court of law. Evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude.
Can you, Mr. Naruhodo?
I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been there in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? I was clicking forward. Gulp. I gotta pick now? Well, I guess I'll just go with my hunch that it's Bruce. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name.
Are you a fool? That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt. But let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in this other seat.
This could be it. Could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat on the omnibus cabin that was obscured by the view was Bruce Fairplay. Yes, concealed in the blind spot of the cabin that night was none other than this unexpected passenger. Oh no!
Whatever so-called logic used to arrive at that conclusion, it matters not. Because your answer has made one thing abundantly clear.
Ah! Ah! Well, I went with my hunch. Oh well.
Mr. Naruhodo, our task is to defend Mr. McGilded, and we are working on the assumption that he's innocent of this crime.
Yeah, of course. Why?
That must mean, then, that there was...
Yeah, I know.
It does seem as though we've all been making a false assumption.
The witnesses weren't even looking at Mr. McGilded at all. Meaning he has to have been sitting somewhere else. Oh! Wait, you want me to tell? Oh. Oh! Yeah, I assumed that from the start. Okay. Oh, right. I thought you were asking who the mystery passenger was. They're asking who specifically was sitting in that seat. Ah, gotcha. Thank you for spelling it out.
Take that!
The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witness on the roof deck failed to see has been Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Mr. McGilded?
What are you talking about, Counsel? That's the name of the defendant!
Objection!
Whoa! Different animation!
If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks! People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learned and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisedly.
His bottle's gone. What are you trying to say?
Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand.
Japan? Artless? Bro. In like 120 years, you're gonna feel so foolish. Yeah, see, that's clearly not him.
When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
Objection! You can't see his face from up there. His hat was in the way.
That premise may be wrong.
What?
If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. Yeah, I know. But, like, that's the consensus that he has right now. But in 120 years, that's the consensus we have, is that Japan's the most artists, the most of the artisans are there. You know what I'm saying?
What inconsistency, Counsel?
Defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claim that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Do you think any of these people... What would be the reaction of Van Zeeks if we showed him some anime from, you know, modern-day anime to this man in the 1900s? Bro, we should show him some fucking hentai, see how he reacts.
What is this drivel? Why is it intriguing?
You get even more racist. Bro. Gotta show him the good shit. Gotta show him, like, Dragon Ball or some shit.
If we knew the truth to be otherwise, only one glove bears the gory remains.
Attention! The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim last night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands. Both of them!
Objection!
Yeah, he's got a good objection. Van Zeeks has Probably the best objection we've heard in a little while. I'd say the last good objections were in probably the first Apollo game. I think from there it kind of sucked. Blackwell had good stuff. Oh, wait, no, he was, oh, no, yeah. No, I'm right, sorry. Getting them confused. I was like, wait, was he the first game? No. That was our Rockstar friend, Gavin. So much Ace Attorney, goodness gracious. Too much Ace Attorney, some would say.
Who was this third party?
Obviously, the true culprit.
Extraordinary!
I like how this judge is basically just our judge, but with a mustache. Like, you straighten that beard out, remove the mustache and the glasses, and take off his toupee. That's just our judge right there.
Order! What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection! But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats. I couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though.
Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir.
What particular size of the hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First?
I'm afraid I don't remember.
You call yourself a hatter?
The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third party in that cabin.
I like how they call a person who makes hats a hatter. That's fun. I don't know. I don't know what else you'd call him. A hattist? A hater? A hatist? A hat maker. A hat maker, sir. Hattistry. Oh my god, they gotta call hat artistry hattistry. It's genius. How can you be sure?
Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilden, would undoubtedly have been, have offered to depose the fact. Unless that is, you are proposing
Something?
Unless that is, you're proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed even to notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled.
He was sleeping. He's right. There was another person traveling on the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. It's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it.
Order! There's clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what do you say, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, you will have already made a full statement to the police.
But what if there's some reason he was unable to speak freely?
Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man had been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? I demand his testimony! Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to figure out the truth. I've got a question. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yes, I need a little time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear Mr. McGilded what he has to say.
Get the man out of here, I say!
It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well. The court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
Haha, fuck you, Zeeks. Lick my balls.
Fine, I will. Present them.
What? Now maybe that what actually happened that night will finally become clear. Will finally come. I'm coming. I'm coming. Hello, I'm coming.
Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGill, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
To be sure I have, my lord.
There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police?
Begad, no, 'tis not my nature to hide anything at all.
Just answer the questions, please.
The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you so, or keep my mouth shut?
Tell us what, Mr. McGilded?
The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
It's true.
Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened.
You... What?
No, Magnus Gilded, that convenient excuse can't save you now. Truly sorry, sir, I am Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I was nuttin' when... why I said nothing when I was talking to the police. You want to know why I was nutting when I was talking to the police? Well, they've got some mighty fine bobbies these days. And you'll be having a very good reason, I assure you.
Which was?
Well, the little child was just in the wrong place in the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see.
What?
The police had known the wee one was there. They'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom, just like myself. I was only trying to spin her of that.
Wait. Is it Shom's daughter? We haven't seen her yet. Or daughter? I don't know. They seem related to some degree.
Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord.
And was this young child of whom you speak?
That I don't know.
You don't know?
Well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
I have absolutely no reason to believe this man.
The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings.
What? Bang! Smoke? Someone's trying to get away! After them! It's no use! I can't see through all the smoke! What's going on?
Careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure this omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom.
We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being, the trial was suspended. To be continued. That's my out! No, it's about time we finish for today. Unfortunately. Very intriguing. Very fun. I love the jurist system. It's a very cool, interesting mechanic. Getting them to all fight amongst themselves. It's very cool. They really went all out. They're designing so many different characters for this. Like, we've seen so many different people already. Like, yeah, Ace Attorney has a lot of characters, but, you know, we still have a bunch of cases left. There's going to be a lot of characters here. With all the jurists, I'm sure they're going to change every single time. Yeah, that would make sense. And then we have, you know, multiple witnesses at once. Prosecutor, judge, me, Susato, side characters. This is going to be quite the catalog. But yes, that will be us for today, everybody. Thank you for coming by. Big Boss Laser Blusher, of course. As always, it was a pleasure. So, next week, we're going to start off the week with, I think we'll do Skyward Sword first, and then Ace Attorney, and I think that'll be our MO for the time being. You know, I'm sure I'll let you guys know if we have something else planned. Next week is the last week before the Switch 2 presentation. Holy shit, I can't believe it is already time to see the Switch 2 and all of its glorious games. So that will be happening, not next week, but the week after, on the Wednesday, I believe. Or it'll be Wednesday night for me, I think. Yeah, time zone-wise, pretty sure. It'll be like 3 a.m. on Wednesday, but we will be here for that. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a couple days. Thank you for tuning in. I love you all, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye now.